Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking networks and high bandwidth. So, firstly, I'll introduce the panel that we've got today. So we've got John Parsons. John, a number of you will know from the Ethernet product team. John is now leading on our portfolio transformation program. I've then got Samantha Ward. Sam is our team lead for Ethernet product management, and then David Lowe is here representing the Wholesale Optical team as well. So today we're going to be covering a number of areas around data networking and high bandwidth. So in terms of what we're going to cover today, I'm going to just give a little intro and just talk through a few areas of our kind of portfolio strategy. We're then going to have some updates on our DIA offering, also our Ethernet portfolio, and then finally into the high bandwidth end. And David's going to be talking through some of the things that we're doing on our Wholesale Optical product. And then finally, we'll have the Q&A session. So just to kind of start off, I thought it was useful to just kind of put a little bit market insight, and this is kind of hot off the press in terms of some recent research that BT Wholesale has commissioned from Cartesian. So focusing in, as we're going to touch on high bandwidth today, looking at the UK market, and this is really kind of supporting a lot of the dialogue that we've been having a number of customers and the feedback of customers that wanting to understand how we support the high bandwidth market. So really kind of showing over the next 5-6 years growth rates of 4%, and in particular you would kind of see at the really high bandwidth end the market. So 10 gig in particular is going to see significant growth within the market. So we will touch on this in the session later on in terms of how we are looking to support our wholesale partners with high bandwidth connectivity. So before we go into some of the sections, I thought it might be worth just covering some of the key elements of our portfolio strategy across the data networking products. I talked through with customers about 4 key theme areas. So the first one is around all IP, and obviously there's a session on later today that I urge you to join, talking through all IP. But from a product perspective, we've been making sure that our portfolios are all IP ready. That's not just about having the all IP accesses available to customers, but it's looking at how we enhance with additional business focused services within that, and also how we create the capabilities to support migration journeys. So for instance, from FTTC to SAGIA, that are available for our customers to benefit from, and to make it a more seamless transition to the future all IP state. Second theme is around, from a wholesale perspective, is looking at how we provide the network kind of underlay for customers and to make that SD ready. So we'll touch on in a little bit more detail around how we've introduced DIA into the portfolio, and how very much from a strategic perspective we're looking at exploiting a multi-service access capability to our customers, give that increased flexibility in terms of how our customers want to configure their services and move between them as well. And as we touched on with the market insight, very much around high bandwidth and supporting the increasing demands for bandwidth services in the UK. So this covers across our Ethernet and our DIA portfolio, but very much into our optical portfolios as well for the very high bandwidth end as well. And we're seeing multiple market researchers giving indications of the bandwidth growth at the above a gig, above 10 gig mark as well. And then finally, key theme is around how do we make it easier for our customers to transact with us, to take services, to check availability, the full suite, and very much that has been about looking at how do we invest in API capabilities as well, so to make that interaction as frictionless or seamless as possible. So again, there's a lot of work going into our API capabilities and how we make them available, for instance, through the likes of the BT API Developer Portal. So John, I know we've touched on this in previous product deep dives, but I think it's probably useful just to talk through the approach that we've took to bring DIA into the portfolio and the way that we are exposing that to our customers. So just wonder if you can just give a quick overview of that.
Thanks, Paul. Yes, approximately 2 years ago, we introduced our DIA product. We was very conscious at the time we wanted it as part of the Ethernet portfolio. There's lots of internet access only products out there, but this was a part of our wholesale Ethernet portfolio for the wholesale customers. When we first introduced it, it was used, a lot of resellers took the service up, But what the main driver for all of this was actually enabling either multi-service access or the transition from layer 2 to layer 3. And obviously the survey results come back to show there is this view within our reseller and CP community that we are looking at what is our future network strategy and where do we take this network we have currently to the next stage. So from a service point of view, and I'll just walk through the diagram just to give you an explanation. Our layer 2 service is obviously connected into from the end customer through the BT21C core network and into yourselves at data centers as the communications provider. Now, from discussions with a number of resellers, a number of communication providers, there was a need, as we saw more and more traffic going across the internet, to introduce the DIA service. And part of the reason we introduced this as well was to actually enable you to reduce your own cost of serve and get better returns on your investment. So at the minute, all the internet traffic you provide comes through your head end. It means you have to improve the service you offer your customers, increase your data center footprint. So from a total cost of ownership point of view, we was looking to say, how can we help you by offloading some of that traffic into the BT core network? Now, from a BT point of view, we have a number of internet services out there we offer into our retail estate. And we have a very large, very secure peering network. So what the plan is, and it has been delivered, was that we would deliver the service into the end customer over multi-service access using existing EAD services you already have in place or FTTP services you already have in place, back into our 21C core. Instead of taking it back into your data center where you would need this extra capacity, we would take this directly into our 21C peering network and then off into the internet. So that enabled you to actually split your traffic and give it a bit more resiliency as well, because they were actually coming from two separate points within the BT network. The second reason for doing this, as we've already mentioned, is about actually enabling you to transition from layer 2 service or purely a layer 2 service into a layer 2 stroke hybrid service. So as part of the service offering and available on our portals and also in our pricing tools was the pricing for DIA and the ability to provide a separate EVC or VLAN service across the top of your existing network to run alongside your layer 2 service. So if you put a 1 gig service in there, you enable you to put a layer 2 service connection in there, a layer 3 DIA service in there at the same time, and then as you need to flex the bandwidth on either of those services.
So I suppose, John, we're talking about a true multi-service access capability with the flexibility to run both, move between them, configure in terms of how they want, and customers can do that both through our portal experience and through our API capability as well, can't they? So you've talked through in terms of what the portfolio or what the product offering does, how it's kind of configured and being able to benefit from that multi-service access capability. But in terms of moving forward, did you want to cover in terms of what plans we've got over the coming months to evolve that portfolio offering?
Yeah. So Q3, which is the quarter we're in now, so October to December in the BT development calendar, we are launching a BGP. So from a service point of view, this will enable you to interconnect your existing IP addressing with the BT addressing we have in our network, the BT addresses we host for you, or the BT service addresses we give to you as part of the DIA product. It helps you add resiliency into your solutions for your customers as well. So that has been launched this quarter, and then moving into quarter 4, which is after Christmas onwards up to the end of March, we are enabling our DHCP, which will enable you to help with your configuration of your end user hardware. So this will make it easier for you to allocate IP addressing to your equipment that you provide to your end customer, or if you need to change the configuration as part of the service offering you're making to your customers, it'll be enabled by our DHCP offering as well.
Okay, so some key enhancements that are coming through on the portfolio, and I know we've been working with customers on that in terms of defining, and there's a lot of interest from customers in terms of deploying those or supporting with those capabilities as well. So we talked through the DIA service offering, the way that that's exposed to customers, the flexibility, some of the developments that are coming through. But I wonder, are there any updates you can give around the commercials and pricing offers?
Yeah, so BT are constantly reviewing their pricing. We've introduced better DIA pricing for services up to the 1 gig level, and also reviewed all our Etherflow pricing for our Ethernet offering. We're also about to go live beginning of next month with some new up to 10 gig pricing for our DIA product. As Paul's already mentioned, our APIs and our pricing tools are all updated in near real time, and either if you get them off the portal, pricing off the portal, or via our APIs. As soon as we announce pricing and it's out there, all our services will be updated so you can get the earliest pricing available to yourselves.
Great stuff. Thanks, John. Some really good updates on DIA. But as the poll was suggesting, a significant number of our customers very much see that layer 2 Ethernet services are key. So good opportunity to bring yourself in, Sam, and just wonder if you could just kind of give us an update in terms of what's been going on.
Thanks, Paul. So, I mean, just look at the photo on screen now. I think you can see what an exciting time it's been in Wholesale. That photo was taken about a month ago now at the Comms National Awards. And I think for those who maybe aren't familiar, they're some of the most recognised awards in the channel. And I was privileged to attend on behalf of the BT Wholesale team. And we took away the Sustainability Award, and we're really proud to do that. And I think this award is credit to the team at BT and everyone involved in terms of achieving our sustainability goals. It's recognition of the milestones and the progress that we've made to date. One, I guess you look at this and you think, okay, so why did BT win this award? So one of the key facts that I like to quote is one milestone we've achieved is we now use 100% renewable electricity to power both our networks and our buildings. And that's pretty significant when you think that of all the electricity in the UK, BT actually consumes 1% of that. So really significant in terms of its impact and that move to net zero. But I think that's quite a top level statement. So you're probably thinking, well, what is it you're doing on your product specifically with a bid to move to net zero? So one of the initiatives that we've got underway at the moment across our core network is we're swapping out all our legacy devices, what we term SR12s, for the latest what we term next gen PE, which are actually SR2s. By doing that, it brings a number of benefits. So first of all, these devices, they have increased capacity. So Paul touched on it at the start. David's going to cover a bit more, but this is really important when we think about that move to higher bandwidths. How do we scale our core network? Other benefits that these devices bring, they've also got enhanced performance. So really important when we think about speed of networking. These devices are faster and they're more robust. So, like to think we're extremely robust already, but, things like self-healing network, things like that, that's where this comes in even more. And as I say, they're more efficient. So more efficient devices, less equipment in our network, much more efficient. So that's just one of the initiatives. We are obviously on a journey at BT. We take sustainability extremely important. It's extremely important. It's key to our strategy. It's something that we're working hard to achieve the goals that we've identified there around net zero. I think for all those service providers watching this today, all those customers, what does this mean to you? So what I'd say is we're seeing it. So we're getting more and more requests in bids, tenders, requests for information around sustainability. So we're seeing it coming through more and more and more. So if you get that, come and talk to us. We're here. We want to work with you on these opportunities. We're keen to work together. The other thing I'd say is maybe you're not that far, maybe you're looking at your own sustainability strategy and you're thinking, where do I go next? Where do I start? How do I develop this? And, we've got up there, you are part of our sustainability goals, so we're keen to work with customers as much as possible.
Yeah, great stuff. Fantastic achievement. But at the Comms Awards, that wasn't the only award that we were up for, was it?
No, absolutely not. So we were also finalists in the Best Network Service Provider category. And I think it's really important to understand why did we reach the shortlist for this award, and it's something that I wanted to cover off briefly today. So when we talk about Best Network Service Provider, when we talk about better on BT, I think it's really important that we quantify those claims. How do we justify making that claim? And at BT, quality is something that we pride ourselves in our products. So we offer quality products from end to end. And that's why we've kind of pulled these stats together, because we want to evidence the claims that we're making. We're keen to talk to customers about these. We're proud of them and we want to put them out there. So there's three key metrics that you can see on the screen. First of all, delivery. So we recognise, especially on Ethernet, this is absolutely fundamental to our product and the quality of our offering. So it's something that we have increased focus on, and we always have done and will continue to do so. So you can just see some stats there, 22 working days, that's half of our orders in the last 12 months were delivered in 22 working days. Furthermore, 95% of all our orders in the last 12 months were delivered in 34 working days. So stats that we're really proud of. And these are important, right? Because this is how you deliver. It's your first interaction with your customer in terms of delivering on the promises that you've made at point of sale. And they're also important to you as a provider, right? Because the quicker the circuit's in the ground, the quicker that it allows you to bill. You don't want loads of orders sat in WIP waiting to bill, because that's revenue that you're waiting to bring into your business. So delivery is something we're really proud of. The other key metric is service availability, so always on. Again, really strong in this category. 5 nines is our SLA. In the last 12 months, we always perform, our average performance is better than SLA. Really proud of this, and this, I think, is probably one of the key metrics. We talk about all IP, we talk about moving to the cloud, but your business applications are only as good as the connectivity that they sit on. So it's a really key kind of decision you need to make in terms of your partner, who you're partnering with, what connectivity are you using, because that underpins the quality of the applications that sit over the top. So really proud of how we perform there. And then finally, repair. So we like to think that, outages are rare, but when they do occur, we've got your back, right? So 96% of faults were cleared within the 5-hour SLA that we have on the product today. Really proud of that performance. We want to deliver on our promises in terms of that speedy resolution time. We know it's critical to you. When your customers need you, we want to be there. So yeah, end to end, this is kind of how we're demonstrating the best. This is how we're demonstrating quality. We're keen to talk to customers about it, but I think those stats there speak volumes. And we do, we recognise that price is critical when it comes to a sale, but so is quality. So really important factors to consider when you're choosing who to partner with.
Yeah, some great stats there, so around availability, performance, but you touched on it before. I'm sure there's a number of our customers out there that also want to know in terms of what we're doing from a pricing perspective. So are there any updates you can provide?
Yeah. So on the last deep dive, we spent quite a lot of time at looking at the GA access options that play into the Ethernet portfolio. So we've got FTTP and SAGIA. Not going to go into too much detail now around the positioning of them into our portfolio. We did that last time. I think just to quickly recap, that when we talk about these, we're not talking about broadband. These are access options that play into the Ethernet portfolio. So once they're delivered, they're quicker to deliver than your traditional EAD. So fibre Ethernet access, they're quicker to deliver, and they've got an improved price point. And something that we're continually doing is looking at how do we develop these access options into more business-focused products. So you can see there on the right, we've got a number of product enhancements that we're working through in our roadmap to turn these into more business-focused products. They're all aimed at kind of improved delivery. But what I wanted to call out today is back in July, we did improve our price points on these access options. So if you've looked at them previously and you think that maybe the commercials weren't where you want them to be, we have really kind of tweaked those price points. So I'd urge you to go back, look at these, reconsider them. And we do recognise that, price is great, but you've got to be able to get the coverage, right? So Openreach today have got FTTP coverage to 15 million premises across the UK. And they've got aggressive plans to grow that. So every month they're enabling another 10,000 premises to get to 25 million by the end of 26-27. But that's just Openreach. In terms of how those accesses play into our portfolio and the Ethernet coverage that you could get, so we've got 30% of business coverage today, and we are aligning to those aggressive plans that Openreach have. So by the end of 26-27, when they're at 25 million, we'll be at 80% coverage for the business market in our Ethernet portfolio. So again, just to re-emphasise, if you've not looked at them, have a look. There is significant opportunity, particularly over the next couple of years, especially on FTTP.
Okay, some great updates there on GEA. But I think in the last product deep dive, I know we spent some time talking about high bandwidth and the fact that we're rolling out coverage there. So it will be good to have a quick update in terms of our high bandwidth coverage and rollout programs.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we did cover it last time. This is key to our strategy again. Obviously, the market is very much the demand, with significant demand we're seeing is on a gig. We are starting to see more and more demand for 10 gig. What we're trying to do now is we're trying to build our network for the future. So when that 1 gig and the commodity ships to 10 gig, we're there, we're ready, and we're there to help you capitalise on that opportunity. So since we last presented, we've enabled another 30 nodes across the UK to support 10 gig. We've also brought on board another data centre, so MA5 up in Manchester, it's Equinix MA5. We've enabled that to be on net for Ethernet. It is our 9th node, our 9th data centre that can support 100 gig now. So for those customers who are aggregating traffic back into the data centres, back into the network, if you're reviewing your core network strategy, if you're looking at your capacity, we'd urge you to come and talk to us. The reason why Equinix have built MA5 is that MA1 and MA3 are particularly on that campus in Manchester, they're becoming full. So it's Equinix's strategic answer to the challenges that they're seeing up there in that campus.
Okay, some great updates there from an Ethernet perspective, but good opportunity now to bring David in terms of just talk about optical. So I know there's been enhancements from a coverage perspective there, David, but do you want to just give a quick top-level summary of some of the key initiatives on optical?
Yes, thank you, Paul. Yes, so really 2 areas as far as the optical network is concerned. So like Ethernet, we've been extending our coverage, 19 new exchanges optically enabled so far this year, bringing our total number of nodes to over 400 throughout the UK. And we've also been extending our coverage of on-net data centres. So we're now live in Telehouse South. So that means if you have customers in Telehouse South, you can reach them using low-cost in-building cross-connects from our optical switch rather than having to buy the more expensive campus cross-connects. And we've also, for the same reasons as Sam's outlined, deployed at Equinix MA5 for the MA1 and MA3 offload. We have another 68 exchanges in progress, and we're currently planning our 25-26 rollout. The other key area of network investment for us is extending our bandwidth capability to 400 gig. At the last deep dive, we announced our plans for 400 gig. I'm pleased to say that we're now live with our launch customer. And we've been working with our launch customer on a case study which describes how they're using 400 gig and wholesale optical to both meet their rapidly expanding traffic demands, but also to maintain customer experience through some of the sort of quite exceptional traffic spikes that software downloads for games like Call of Duty are generating in the network. So we've put a form on wholesale.com where customers can register your interest in 400 gig. We just asked for a few details, and in particular, we'd like to know whereabouts you expect to need 400 gig, because that will help inform our network rollout and future coverage. That will also enable us to keep you updated. But if you have a definite requirement, of course, please speak to your account manager and data specialist.
Okay, great stuff. So we've talked about coverage, talked about 400 gig. Are there any other updates in terms of what you're doing on the wholesale optical portfolio?
Yes, we're simplifying the process for ordering or quoting and ordering wholesale optical. Today we have the indicative pricing tool for optical on wholesale.com, but the process after that is for getting a firm design and quote is somewhat manual. So we're building on the pricing tool to add a request for firm quote button. If you click that button, it will present you with some simple screens that just ask for some of the additional details we need for a firm design, and then that will get submitted to our account teams, to our design team and our commercial team, who will prepare a design and firm quote for you. Once you've got that firm design and quote, if you want to take that forward, you'll then be able to go back onto the tool to fill an online CRF. Currently, we have an offline Excel spreadsheet for the CRF, and then that online CRF can be automatically submitted into our delivery process. So we hope that this will streamline our processes and make it simpler and quicker for you to quote and get quotes for and order our optical services.
So some good improvements there in terms of for customers getting access to pricing and also through to ordering. But I've quizzed John, I've quizzed Sam on commercial, so it might be good just to kind of just do a recap in terms of some of the key offers that we've got on the optical portfolio.
Yes, of course. So, I mean, for some of you, this may be a reminder as to what we presented at the last time, but we have 3 offers. One is that we have the ability to amortize connection costs over the term of the optical contract, so that's built into the pricing tool and available today. Secondly, we did have different connection prices depending on speed and the type of optical node. So we've simplified that, and we just now have 2 connection prices, one for 10 gig, one for 100 gig, and we've chosen the lowest of the prices we had for each of those. So we've, in general, reduced our connection pricing. And then lastly, we have an offer running until December of this year. That's around 10 gig optical circuits, and we're offering free connection where we have available 10 gig capacity in the network. So if any of these are of interest to you, then again, please contact your account manager or data specialist.
Great stuff. Thanks, David, and thanks, John and Sam. That's a really good run through in terms of lots of updates, both pricing updates, commercial offers, coverage updates, etc., across the portfolio. So now we'll move into Q&A. So hopefully there have been a number of questions that have been asked. Given David, you've been talking on optical, I might come to yourself first, just looking, we've got a couple of optical questions. And actually 400 gig, so Adrian's asked, is the 400 gig case study available to download from our portal?
It is, yes. So if you go onto the optical section under products on wholesale.com, you'll find the case study available for download.
Yeah, and I think you can download it as a PDF format,
Yes, it
etc.
is.
So
Yes,
yeah,
you can, yes.
so yeah, just to recap. So if you go to the btwholesale.com page, select optical from a portfolio perspective, and it should be easy to find there in the support collateral capability. We have another one on optical. So David, obviously you've talked through rolling out a number of new optical nodes, but is there any or are there any regions that you're rolling that out in particular to?
Well, I think in terms of regions, probably the one to call out is Northern Ireland, where we've rolled out a number of new optical nodes this year, and that really gives us the best optical coverage of Northern Ireland of any provider, we believe. Otherwise, we've been focused on infill in areas where we do have existing coverage, but as has been said before, by doing the infill, we bring ourselves closer to you and your customers, and that means we can offer reduced access costs and more cost-effective optical solutions to you.
Yeah, okay, all right, that's really useful to know. I think, John, I'll bring one in here for you on DIA. It's a bit of a techie question, I think. So you mentioned DIA and BT taking care of the IP addressing. Question is, do you offer /29 IP addresses?
Yep. Yeah, so when we first introduced the DIA, we only went up to /31 for an introduction. With the movement of traffic to the internet, we've introduced /29 for WAN IPs, and that is included as part of the same commercial offering as well, so there's no additional charges for that.
Okay, so hopefully that answers the question. So yeah, we support it, and it's within the product price, and it's not a chargeable extra as part of the DIA offering. I'll direct this one to yourself, Sam, so you're not feeling left out. So digitisation and automation was mentioned at the start, so I did kind of touch on APIs there. So question is, what APIs do you have available today on Wholesale Ethernet?
Okay, yeah, APIs. So we have APIs on both Ethernet and DIA, so layer 2 and layer 3. In terms of customers want to understand what we've got today, we house all our APIs across the group, actually, on our BT developer portal. So you can go there. If you filter Wholesale and Ethernet, you can see all the APIs we have and we support today. You can download the specs, all the documentation, hand that to your developers to have a look at. In terms of the specific journeys that we support, our API strategy is to have end-to-end APIs, so automation end-to-end for the product, whether it be quoting right the way through to diagnostics. In terms of today, we support quoting and availability checking, ordering, placing orders directly into us, and on our roadmap, so we've got it in our backlog at the minute to be prioritised, is repair and diagnostics API. So that's something that we've got planned on the roadmap. But yeah, just to emphasise, anyone who's keen at looking at APIs, I guess not just on Ethernet, if it be broadband, whatever it might be, you can go to the BT developer portal and find out more there. Also, obviously, get in touch with your account managers and they'll link you into the right people.
Okay. So I know I'll just bring in another one here because a customer asked me this recently in terms of so from an in-life perspective with the APIs, we're able to support on the layer 2 Ethernet service the bandwidth on demand capability as well, can't we? So if customers want to flex or increase their VLAN bandwidth, that can be done through the API as well.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Right. One more. John, on DIA, question is, do you support IPv6 within our DIA product?
The answer is yes, we do. The DIA product is dual stack, so we do IPv4 and IPv6 as standard. So you get the equivalent, and I can't remember the number off the top of my head, equivalent number of IPv6s as part of the service offering.
Okay, great stuff. And I think on our website, again, btwholesale.com, if you select Ethernet or select DIA actually specifically, there's more information on there, and there's more information on our IP peering capabilities as well. So urge you to check that out. If there's any further questions, then obviously, please come back to us. Are you going to be able to offer Ethernet? I think that is Ethernet over SAGIA in DIA. So John, do you want to?
So from a portfolio point of view, we did consider that when we launched the DIA service. We considered the price points against the broadband product, and the decision was made at the time not to do DIA over Ethernet SAGIA. Sam, there's a difference between the broadband SAGIA and Ethernet SAGIA. Purely from the point of view, there's no guarantees. So one thing we are very conscious about is the guarantees we offer on the Ethernet network. And from a SAGIA point of view, we haven't got the guarantees of service delivery speeds and things like that. So we decided at the time not to do SAGIA DIA.
Yeah, so I think we just on that, we do SAGIA on layer 2 Ethernet services, which I know a number of our customers take. But from a DIA perspective, I'm just looking at the bandwidths in terms of internet traffic. We chose to align to dedicated fibre, so EAD-based services, and FTTP is available within the DIA portfolios. So I think, just quickly double check in, I think we've been through all the questions that have been asked. Thank you for John and Sam and David, and thanks for your time, everyone.